One of the most famous horror games where you can't fight the monster, Amnesia is hard to finish due to its constantly stressful atmosphere and game mechanics. The actor cannot stay in the dark for too long because it drives the hero crazy. The problem with this is that the player is also vulnerable to strange creatures that might appear to hunt them, not hiding in the dark. Amnesia does this wonderful job of making sure that even playing a cautious game is harmful, which requires constant balance. Japanese horror games have a way of being extremely spooky and sinister, while offering a good gaming experience. Fatal Frame 2: Crimson Butterfly is much more than your typical horror game. It uses many elements of survival horror game and combines them with Japanese culture. The result is a story full of ghosts, jumping scares and truly scary moments. It's not one of the hardest games on the market, but still above your average difficulty, especially towards the end, when things reach a whole new dimension. Fatal Frame is one of the games that makes the PS2 the best console for fans of the genre. Another game where players are vulnerable. Explore, solve puzzles, find items and escape. Outlast doesn't mind making the player feel powerful. In fact, the game is constantly trying to do the opposite. It is one of the best horror games that do not let you fight though. Dark episodes are particularly worrisome, as not only do gamers see through the camera, they also have to take into account their battery. There are many moments when hiding is the best move, and staying in one place too long can be a bad idea. It's not the hardest horror game out there, it's harder than your average survival horror game. Resident Evil 2 Remake requires some conservative gameplay, cautious exploration, and good aim. Wasting bullets is never a good idea. If players are not used to the genre, they may consider looking for some clues before starting this game. This game surprised many people the first time they tried it. Resident Evil 2 Remake was the first AAA horror game in a long time that will make players more careful about using their resources, rather than holding hands throughout the journey. From Software offered more than a game. Bloodborne is an action RPG horror game very similar to Dark Souls. It includes Victorian influences, gothic architecture, werewolf-like monsters, and many scary things that give this game a unique sense of horror. Best of all, most enemies can kill hunters with just a few attacks, especially when the player is at a low level. Even if the characters are very strong and upgraded, most bosses can kill the hunter with just a few hits. This should be expected as it comes from the same people who gave us Black Souls. The Necromorphs are one of the most annoying basic enemies in survival horror games. Not only do they die easy, they are also fast, deceitful, and deadly. When you're playing Dead Space for the first time, it's pretty easy to often die for those mutant zombie things that often prey on you. The only thing that makes Dead Space difficult is that players do not play a military man. The main character is not a soldier, and the poor controls on aiming make you feel like they don't have any training with weapons. It is also one of the best horror games ever made in space. This is not your usual horror game. GTFO is a first-person shooter in the cooperative survival horror genre. The game is not very complex in gameplay, and is reminiscent of games like Left 4 Dead, but has a much different visual identity. In GTFO, 4 players must cooperate and enter an underground space to complete a series of missions assigned to them by someone named the Warden. The game is fun and scary, but at the same time a highly demanding task that requires coordinated actions and tactical thinking. This game can sometimes be very similar to Outlast, but it eventually gives players a weapon. However, the pistol is only useful against synths. They're not a big bother in the game, but at times they can be super annoying bullet sponges that will hinder your progress. This is not the hard part of Alien. Isolation. When you first meet the alien, be prepared to be stressed and scared often. The xenomorph is invisible anywhere from tunnels, rooms or ceiling, and can instantly kill a man directly. No bullet can change that. The flamethrower might frighten him for a moment, but he will definitely come back. Siren is the perfect game for fans of Japanese horror movies. Dark, brutal and constantly exciting. It has this grayish color palette that creates a constant feeling of sadness and fear. The foggy scenarios and constant rain make this game feel exciting every second. Siren can cause a lot of stress if players don't really know what to do. The game may not be very clear at times, which makes it easier for players to make big mistakes. This is a first-person horror game that borrowed many items from Resident Evil. Being a first-person shooter makes players paranoid about what's behind them. Ebola II is tough. It doesn't allow players to save the game whenever they want, and the game's zombies can endure a lot of bullets. What he gets from the classic Resident Evil is very clear. Players must shoot the zombies in their heads and also burn the bodies of fallen zombies. Keys, plants, lighters, petrol, etc. There are items. The game is hard to a point where you will wonder if it is fun or not. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked the video, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the page.